Our unit overview, students are going to use their prior knowledge from the previous unit about the unit circle and transformations of graphing, and they're going to apply it to trigonometric functions on a coordinate plane and real-world applications.
Step A, know our learners. So this is for an 11th grade college prep Algebra 2 class. So before this, students have completed Algebra 1 and Geometry, and they've completed the prior unit on the unit circle. We also know that our classes have educational plans, so IEPs, 504 plans, and also various disabilities, and also various abilities in their levels of learning. We also know that lots of our students have educational plans after high school, so this is going to prepare them for college or whatever they're going to do after high school.
Just our objectives. So first off, we broke our objectives into our Common Core standards, explaining how the unit circle relates to the coordinate plane, using special right triangles and relating that to trigonometry, explaining the unit circle through symmetry and the periods of the trig, and using model periodic phenomena that describes amplitude, frequency, and midline. And then when we break it down to learning objectives, we expect our students to be able to graph the cosine curve involving period, amplitude, midline, phase shift with a 90% accuracy. And students have to interpret key features of sine and cosine functions with 90% accuracy to show that they understand.
For step C, identify teaching and learning strategies. So our main perspective design strategy is Brewer's thinker tool approach. The main aspects of this is to motivate, model evolution, formalization, and transfer.
When we identify teaching and learning strategies, we have some additional theories. One of them being Gage's 9 events of instruction. So those include gain attention, which we would do by introducing the task, so giving them a need for the mathematics, describing the goal, so being very apparent and direct and transparent with the goal of the lesson, simulate recall of prior knowledge. Well, they're using everything from Unit 10, the unit circle, and relating it back to the applications. Present the material to be learned. That's done every day in class with the lesson at hand. And providing guidance of learning. We're constantly interacting with the students, formatively assessing to see where they're at. And that ties into our informative feedback throughout the lessons, through warm-ups, exit slips, and homework. And we're hoping to enhance retention and transfer, so they're going to retain what they learned in the prior unit by transferring it to their knowledge of the new material.
For step D, identify and select technologies. So we have a lot of technologies that we are going to use throughout this unit. We have PHET, Moving Man Simulation. So this is our simulation where it unwraps the unit circle so that students can see the connection between their prior knowledge of the unit circle and the graphical representation. Then we have Desmos. So students are going to be using this interactive presentation where they have adjustable sliders to see how the various key features affect the graph, especially our amplitude, period, and shifts. We have Canvas Learning Management System. So this is used every day for our resources. We have calendars, notes, homework, along with different answer keys and any other online resources that we want them to look at. We can post on Canvas. Khan Academy. So this is for additional resources. There's videos, video explanations, different articles, and step-by-step explanations, as long as different quizzes that they have. And then lastly, we have our Google form, and we are going to use this as a student survey at the end of the unit to gather feedback from our students.
Day-to-day description. On the first day, the students will do a Ferris wheel task. Within this task, we present a video of Navy Pier to generate and create that hook for the students. We then ask them and say, what information do you need to know in order to be able to tell me how long you can take pictures of the Buckingham Fountain while you're on the Ferris wheel? Day 2 is the PHET simulation and vocabulary. Students have the simulation where they explore the transformations of trig functions and also work in their teams to define the words necessary for this unit. So they use their prior knowledge to be able to transfer and enter into the mathematics and vocab of this day. For day 3 is the Desmos activities. So students will use an interactive presentation where they're exploring and discovering key features of the sine and cosine functions. Day 4, group presentations. The students will be given a function with various transformations, and then once they've mastered that problem and that type of function, they're going to present to the class and be the experts on that, and students in their class can ask them questions on the key features of those functions.
For day 5 through 6, we are going to revisit the Ferris wheel task, and we're going to provide an extension for them. So they're in their groups from day 1, and then they're going to look at the problem in a different way. So then we'll give them the extension where they have to use the new resources and new strategies that they learn to apply it to be able to complete this extension. For day 7, we have formative as a warm-up so that we can gather the information and the results used on the formative, and then we'll put them into stations. So we have 3 different stations. There's a graphing station, a modeling station, and then a level 4 station. So wherever students need to work on, if they need to work on graphing, they'll go there. If they need to work on modeling, they'll go to that station. And then if they've mastered both of them, they'll go to the extension station, which is the level 4. And then our last day, day 7, we have our summative assessment. So students will take the summative assessment on graphing trig functions. And then after that, we will use a Google form to complete a survey and gather information on how we can improve as teachers going forward for our next unit.
All right, step F, mixed ability, differentiate options. So if they're lacking prerequisite skills and knowledge on the unit circle, from the previous unit, we attached a Khan Academy video to help them refresh their skills and better master them. We have summary sheets, which is a cardstock piece of paper that has all the key features and important vocab and equations of the unit on one central location. Standard remediation is where all of the standards within the unit are represented on practice worksheets, and students identify their misconceptions and they practice those standards until they have a 90% accuracy. And in the test, something we provide is resource cards. So if students are having trouble entering in or knowing what mathematics to use, they're provided resource cards to help them, okay, well, maybe I should make a graph, maybe I should make a table, how would I write an equation? And then these resource cards also act as extensions, so challenging the students who might have mastered the task early on and pushing them to think further into the problem.
For step G, we have handouts. So here below we have just screenshots of our Ferris wheel tasks that we give them on day 1, and then we have another one that is how this is shown like about the simulation that we use, and it is showing how the unit circle unfolds and unwraps to create a graphical representation.
So looking at the same handouts we had on the previous slide, this is a student artifact, so showing students' work. The one on the left is keyed of the unit circle. You can see they drew a beautiful diagram and did a graphical representation, and then on the simulation worksheet, you were able to see like the key features they identified and the coordination they showed.
Step I, we have online digital content. So students will be provided the videos for prereq skills. So there's the various videos that we've linked for students to access if they need that extra practice. And then they also have different resources to Khan Academy, GimKit, Kahoot, and YouTube videos. And we have a link on our Google Doc that links all of these videos and all of these resources for students to practice in an interactive way.
Conceptual categorization, we use the SAMR model, and for the A, argumentation, that was our simulation from the PHET trig tour. So basically just students having to fill out a table with the unit circle values allowed them to use their previous knowledge. They then applied that knowledge to a graph, which they've done transformations of graph, and were able to relate it to the new material and how you can see the unit circle being graphed. Modification was The key features they practiced within the Desmos, they were able to connect their prior knowledge of transformations to the graphing of trig functions. If the students were investigating graphs on paper discussing, they wouldn't be able to explore how the key features changes the graphs of functions. And then we just have the Google Forms for feedback as well, which is awesome.
Step K, make a summative evaluation. So this is how we will assess our students' learning. We have the formative assessment, so we give them feedback on homework. We also give them feedback through the interactive presentation of Desmos. They get that feedback immediately through the tasks and through the standard remediation, where we group them into the different standards that they need to improve on. Our summative assessment, so this is our just formal demonstration of what skills that students learned. And then informally, we have our warm-ups, exit slips, assessing standards 1A and 1B, or 3B. 1A is graphing and 3B is our modeling.
So lastly, we just provided a list of our references if you want to look through. This can also be found on our paper. Thanks for watching.